All right, guys, we've got something kind of cool to show you today. So we've got Jett Lawrence playing a Supercross game against some of his fellow pro riders at the time. So I want to set the video up before we talk about the race because the race was absolutely crazy and super fun to watch. But this is footage you've never seen before. Nobody's ever seen it. If you remember from a few years ago, NBC Sports, I believe, is the one that did it. They remember like half the races were postponed and had to go to Salt Lake City to finish the season, but there was some downtime in between. Well, in between, NBC Sports decided to run kind of an e-sport race for a 450 and 250 class, and then they went and got a handful of riders, pro riders, to represent themselves in the game and go head-to-head and race a main event for the 250s, a main event for the 450s, and they broadcast it on NBC Sports on Real TV and the Monster Energy Supercross YouTube channel. Maybe some more places, but for sure there. So, I was involved with making that. It was a really cool experience. I ran the race director, got all the riders in a lobby and set the race up, and then tried to follow them around the track and get, semi-equal screen time. Just because you were winning or having a great battle didn't mean that the camera would stay just on you, because it was for fun. It was for fun. Yes, we tried to get the battles and whatnot because that was the fun part, but we tried to keep it semi-even. So we've got Josh Hill in here. We've got Jett Lawrence in second, Brandon Hartraft, Justin Cooper, RJ Hampshire, and Alex Martin. Now, I don't know if that was everybody that raced the main, but that was the riders that showed up for the test run here. Because when this all started, was announced to when it happened, was very, 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 very quick. It was a lot of work in just a couple weeks' time to put this together and whatever. There was a ton of moving parts. They were all in a Zoom call. So when they were racing against each other in the game, they were all in a Zoom call, kind of having some banter back and forth, all for fun. And it was it was just fun. It was fun to hear them, going at it, a bit of trash talk and whatnot. They were three deep in that corner. I think that was RJ Hampshire. I think that was RJ Hampshire that went, kind of got the punt off the track. But yeah, Jett Lawrence was one of the only riders that wasn't using his correct rider. I don't know if he had a pro rider in the game at the time, because I don't know if he raced the year before, but he was running this 31 Honda, which I'm not sure if that was RJ Hampshire at the time in the game, but for the main event, he made his own rider. If you go back and watch it, he had an 83 CRF 250. But at the front of the pack, first, second, and third, it was Hill, Hartraft, and Cooper. Those guys kind of started to pull away and just kind of rode their own race. All these guys were actually way better at the game than I was expecting, especially the front guys, but the best racing was at the back here. Nobody wanted to be last, and it was just really fun takeout racing. No consequences of being hurt or whatever. It was just a fun video game race, right? And like I said, they were all in a Zoom call, so they could all kind of talk to each other when it was happening. There, Jett tries to make the pass, cuts down early, but Cooper gets past him, and he might put him over the berm here. He gives him a little bit of a push and stays in third, but somewhere, I don't know if we catch it in the race, somewhere Cooper gets Jett Lawrence back and makes a pass stick. But I believe for the main event, Jett was actually pretty good at the game. I don't know if he was the best. Well, he wasn't the best, but he was pretty good. He was close to as good as the top guys, which would have been Josh Hill and Brandon Hartraft. Those guys were the two fastest in the 250 class, and I believe Hartraft had said something that him and Hill play the game together a decent amount, and so they had more experience than some of the guys. For example, Alex Martin, it sounded like, doesn't really play video games and had never played this game, but he was still having fun. He was still having fun out there throwing down, battling with these two guys, Jett Lawrence and RJ Hampshire. RJ Hampshire and Jett Lawrence and Alex Martin definitely put on a show at the back of the pack here. A three-way battle for last place, and nobody again wants to get last, and I think this is a pretty good battle here between Jett Lawrence and RJ Hampshire. So Jett's coming down the rhythm section, stops early, brakes, cuts across, was about ready to take Hampshire out, but Hampshire kind of messes himself up and goes off track. Here comes Alex Martin to go boom and give Jett the punt over the berm. But it looked as if Jett went over the berm, but that was actually just really weird lag that happened occasionally. So he didn't actually go over the berm, but on our screen it appeared as if he did. So Martin actually messed himself up and went down, trying to give him the punt over that berm, and then he hits the back of Lawrence there and goes down, does a loop out, and now he's in last place. But it isn't over. I mean, they just kept going back and forth. So the video was about 17 minutes, the race, because it was a full main event. I tried to cut it down to a shorter length to show the best parts while still trying to show all the riders here. So they all got some screen time and whatnot, but tried to cut it down to show the best parts. There we see RJ Hampshire coming in pretty hard and giving the business to Martin. Martin comes right back and gives Hampshire the business, but messes himself up and can't hit the finish line double. But RJ gets a pretty hard case life there, and Martin gets him back, and then you can see Jett coming up from behind. So the best racing by far was for 4th, 5th, and 6th place. These guys were going at it like crazy. So really fun event, cool to be a part of it. This is a race. This was the test race. I'm pretty sure I've said that a million times. The test race that you have not seen. This is unseen footage, and it was just, I don't know if it was better than the main event race, but there was a bunch of battling here in the back. And I wish I could have had the Zoom call where they were all like, you know, trash talking each other in a fun way. I wish I could have had that to go with it, but I didn't record that, so I didn't have it. It wasn't, I don't remember how that all worked, but I was in the Zoom call, but I wasn't recording it. And then obviously something happened there. Oh, this is really cool. So Jett was planning for Hampshire to come in, brake checks him, but he didn't know RJ was right behind him. They were 3 deep in that corner, and then he gets taken out by RJ Hampshire. So really cool. It was a fun experience. I do have the 450 race as well, which was equally fun. I don't know if it was quite as fun. Well, yeah, it was. It was just as fun as the 250 race. Here I wanted to show this clip. This is Jett Lawrence racing Josh Hill super, super hard. I don't know if he knew that Hill was actually coming around to lap him. I don't think he knew that, but that was actually Hill getting ready to lap Jett Lawrence. But Jett Lawrence, all these guys were pretty good, and I believe Lawrence gets 3rd place in the main event. So he got significantly better in the span of like 1 day, 2 days. But all these guys were way better at the game than I expected, and some of them were much, much, much better than I was expecting them to be. Some of these guys were actually really, really good. You know, like Josh Hill and Benny Bloss in the 450s was also very, very good at the game. So I do have the 450. I was trying to say I do have the 450 main event, the test run that you haven't seen. Let me know in the comments if that is something you do want to see posted on the channel, and I will kind of treat that video the same as I'm doing this one. And then here we're on the final lap. For the final lap, we always switched over to the leader, like in real life. We want to get the leader, even if there was some good battling going on. You know, show the guy that put in the work and is running in 1st place. He had a pretty big lead over second, and then second had a pretty good lead over 3rd. So the top 3 were pretty spaced out, but then the bottom 3 were pretty tight and having some crazy battling. So let me know if you want to see the 450 race. I can do that. We can bring it to you. Otherwise, this is probably going to be a one-time video, but I thought it was really cool because getting to see the pro riders race themselves in the game, minus Jett Lawrence. He wasn't using a replica rider for himself for the test race, but it wasn't a big deal because it wasn't the one that was going to be shown on TV. They did good and put on a really good show, and it was a really fun time. And yeah, you'll see the lap times at the very end. They were pretty close across the board. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.